Gooseworx's recent posts on X definitely got fans hyped, cause now it's official. We're getting way more digital Circus content. Every new episode's gonna be over 30 minutes long, which is honestly amazing, and I clearly remember Goose mentioning somewhere that one of the episodes turned out so long we can't even imagine how big it is. And judging by what she said about episode 7, it's probably that one she meant. But right now we're here to talk about episode 6, so let's get back to the most important teaser we've got so far, the sneak peek from San Diego Comic-Con. We already talked about the mysterious private room and another round between Jax and Zooble, but this time let's look at that teaser from a different angle, especially now that the latest event might be hiding even more important clues for us. If we think back to Kane's little presentation, where he's basically campaigning to be chosen as the best character in the digital circus, there's a huge focus on the adventures, which honestly makes total sense considering what we've seen in the previous episodes.
Zooble, 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 making adventures is my art! It's all I exist to do, all I'm good at. And, what you're saying could imply that I'm bad at the only thing I'm good at, and that... that'd be...
So, in that case, the whole point of the private room might have been to secretly figure out what the characters really think about Kane's adventures. Technically, Kane's just another character like the rest. He just plays a different role, but that doesn't change the fact that he's still a part of this whole insane show. The weird part is, no one really talks about him, and I feel like episode 6 is finally going to change that. I don't think we'll get that classic scene at the start, where everyone's hanging around, and then boom, Kane shows up, grabs them all, and kicks off a new adventure. I'm guessing instead we'll get a much longer intro where Kane explains why it matters so much to him that everyone enjoys his adventures and what's really going on behind some of his weird behavior. Another thing to keep in mind is that episode 6 is very likely going to be the point where everything completely spirals into chaos. Something the creators have hinted at multiple times. And for some reason, I've got this strong feeling that Kane's gonna be one of the main players in all of it. Or better yet, not Kane himself, but some piece of info he accidentally lets slip that ends up setting off the whole mess. We also shouldn't forget about Regatha, whose fate is pretty much gonna be decided in episode 6, and something tells me our doll might be connected to the whole abstracting thing with Jax's so-called best friend. It's totally possible that Ribbit, whether directly or indirectly, is going to play a major role in the new episode, especially with how hyped fans are and the little hints Goose has been dropping. But what could have possibly happened to make Jax react so strongly to all this? And why might this character end up being the key to everything that's about to go down? Let's talk about that right now. What actually happened to Ribbit? And that's where things get really interesting. So what if Ribbit was actually the first one to go through something similar to what Jax experienced in episode 4? What if after that Ribbit's mental state just couldn't recover, and day by day he slowly started losing his mind, eventually turning into the creature we saw? There's even evidence that Jax wasn't always the jerk we know now, but I'll save that for tomorrow because the video you're gonna see will completely flip your entire understanding of the digital circus. No spoilers just yet. Anyway, after Ribbit turned into that monster and got sent to the basement, that's when Jax started becoming the guy who mocks, humiliates, and throws sharp jokes at everyone around him. And have you ever wondered why Gangle became his #1 target? That's just one theory. And the real issue is we don't actually know what Ribbit was like, and that's exactly where Pomni comes in. Remember when I said Pomni and Ribbit are connected if only because they were both meant to be frogs? I'm not sure if the show will ever tie them together directly as characters, but when it comes to personality and behavior, they might be way more alike than we think. That could be the very reason why after all this time Jax chose Pomni as his new partner in crime, because deep down, he sees a reflection of his old friend in her. So now we kind of know what Ribbit was like before turning into an abstracted monster. Maybe a little shy, kind, probably treated others well, and definitely had a strong friendship with Jax. At least that's how we see Pomni now. But let's shift away from that sweet version of Pomni for a sec, and think about her evil version, who, let's be honest, might actually make a great match for Jax.
Ha! Get owned!
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ah, she's cool.
So here's a theory: those evil versions are actually reflections of the character's true feelings, thoughts, and behaviors. That means Pomni might not be as sweet as she seems at first glance. I'm not saying she's some villain out to hurt everyone, but there's definitely a rebellious streak in her, and chances are Ribbit had that same spark. That's probably the very thread that kept Jax and Ribbit tight as best friends. But even if we imagine Jax was originally a friendly guy, that spark was always there. And that spark, maybe from an awkward word or too many jokes and teasing between them and others, or even judgment from the rest of the cast, could have pushed Ribbit into depression. That might have eventually led him down to that basement as an abstracted monster. After that, Jax probably hid, or maybe even lost his friendly side, leaving just that spark behind, which now helps him mask his true feelings, while he simultaneously takes shots at Gangle. Which theory makes more sense to you? Or maybe you've got your own ideas. Drop them in the comments, I'd really enjoy reading them. Personally, I'm leaning toward the second theory because it explains why Jax shut everyone out and made the whole Ribbit topic off limits. No one even dares mention Ribbit around him. After all, Jax is the reason his best friend is gone. Maybe he blames himself every single day, and I'm pretty sure the new episode will reveal a lot more about this. There's even another scene with Jax that backs up this theory.
Do you think Gangle is actually capable of being happy?
What?
I don't know, like her comedy mask still breaks every day. Does she think hanging out with Zooble is gonna magically fix that?
Maybe she just doesn't want to hang out with someone who's mean to her all the time.
Aren't you surprised that Jax actually cares about Gangle? It seems wild considering everything we've seen, but there's a reason behind it, and that reason is Ribbit. I'm pretty sure Jax sees in Gangle's constant gloomy state a reflection of the same feelings Ribbit had in his last days in the digital circus, and that's what triggers Jax. Even though he loves to joke and mess with her, deep down he's scared of any repeat of what happened with the abstraction. That's exactly why he left Kufmo's funeral early and went to visit his best friend's room afterward. Now you know pretty much everything that happened with Ribbit and partly with Jax up to this point, but what's really exciting is what comes next. I'm almost 100% sure episode 6 will reveal a lot more about the relationship between these two characters. But first let's dive into a pretty spicy topic. Could Ribbit actually make a comeback in the amazing digital circus? Right now, we know for sure that Ribbit's hanging out somewhere in the basement with Kofmo and the other unlucky souls. We also remember that turning into an abstracted monster involves a major personality shift, and for a long time, most fans believed there was no way back, since Kane seemed capable of everything except possessing the minds of characters. But let's not forget this moment.
Give me a whiskey sour, but hold the egg white, since I'm a vegan. What? I hate this! How is this even possible? I thought Kane couldn't...
Or even this scene from episode 4. We clearly see that Kane can possess characters' minds, changing their thoughts, feelings, behavior, even habits. So what's stopping him from pulling Ribbit out of the basement, taking over his mind, wiping away all the damage, and basically bringing him back to a normal life? Honestly, nothing's stopping Kane from doing that. But as we know, the digital circus is a closed loop where new faces have to appear and the cast is limited to just 6 characters, so it's unlikely Ribbit will return as a full resident. That said, no one says he can't show up as an NPC, which seems totally possible given how important this character has become. Or maybe he's already here. Did it strike anyone as odd that in episode 5 we started seeing this mannequin more and more often? And considering that this mannequin showed up all the way back in the very first teaser for episode 5, yet never actually appeared in the episode itself, there's a good chance that was a hidden hint from the creators. We've also come to understand who Ribbit really is, and how important he might be for the future of the story. So what if Kane, instead of sending him to the basement like the others, decided to spare him and move his consciousness back into its original form?